So we are, was it 6, 7 lines from the top of Memtes? The line starts with what she'ein memhus acher. So the latest twist that we have to somehow relate to that the ha'orah, the gili ha'orah, the way it is in Atzilus, is not the very mahus of the oil that is above Atzilus. Although it is not, neither is it a mahus acher, a different mahus. And yet still, it's not oisei mahus, it's not the very same mahus. So we attempted to give it some kind of a handle to understand how is it not that mahus, and yet it's not a different mahus. Anybody remember?
Beside?
But remember we spoke about it.
Oh, that's for sure. But the object, but the inspiration for seeing is the reality of the object.
Beautiful. The initial impetus that represents the essence of any oil. The reason that this is the essence is that the initial impetus comes not from the oil itself. It comes from that which initiates it, from the real source. Therefore, that is its real mahus. I always point out that what is the chayus of any entity? It is that which initiated it. Like we always point out to the car. The car may be going in circles, but that's not the essence of the car. The essence of the car is that which initially conceptualized it. Give it the inspiration to go for it. No one in his right mind will say that the car was inspired envisioning running races. Going across country, yes. Running races, I just want to explain my previous statement. Running races is proving the power of the car, not its value. Going across country is the actualization of its value prior to it being there. Therefore, running races is after the fact. It's not the real thing. The real thing is the spirit that the source from which it comes. That's the real thing. This is what we always ultimately bring out, that the world, the physical world, it has all kinds of different natures. But what does it represent? It represents the statement of the king, because that's the only thing that can initiate it. But it represents the reality, like we said. I don't know if we can correlate, because we spoke about this another thing. What is the meaning that a human being stands unto? Stands up in mid-space. It is that the standing element in the human being is based on reality, not based on convenience and comfort. After the fact. This is why he is actually independent of the existing situation. And this is represented by his stance. If he were dependent on the existing situation, he would be crawling on all four. Okay, good.
The fact that the human being stands upright is due to the fact that, in essence, he's above the world. He's not dependent on the world.
Right. Okay, I wish you'd take it one step further. The world is not representing itself. There's a creator to the world. The human being represents that spirit of the creator. The human being is here not not to enjoy the sweet taste of apples, like the animal have. He's not part of the world. He comes into the world to reveal and to bring the real spirit that's behind the world. And I must interject in conclusion so that it should not be misinterpreted. He is supposed to bring the spirit, not dispirited. Thus, inspiration, not dispire, not to take away the spirit of the world. That's not his Indian. It is to bring the true spirit. Destruction is not part of the human mandate. This is, you could say that this is the divergent views of Chassidus and Musar. Not to put Musar down, but the point is this is something which is an important principle in the human purpose. Bring out to reveal the richness that could be, not to eliminate the poverty that there is. All right. It's amazing how in every word there is so much richness, so much background. Ubibiyah, okay, this is where we're up to. We are, as I said, this is 7 lines from the top. The line begins with the word she'enoi. At the end of that. Ubibiyah, and Biyah, hu bebchinas mehus acher. In Biyah, the oir, the Igila that's in Atzilus actually is mistaying, concludes in Atzilus. And in Biyah, it is B'chinas Mehus Acher. It has the the quality of Mahus Acher? What is the inspiration? The reality within Biyah is something different than that which is in Atzilus. This is sort of like what the Rambam says, that Hayez Haguf body, that the group should be healthy, Midarke Hashem. It is also Darke Hashem. This is Midarke Hashem. It's one of Darke Hashem. Why? For several principles. One is, and the Rambam says, because if a person is ill, then he cannot really bring all the spirit in learning and davening. Then he's like in the spirit. Therefore, to be healthy is Mdarke Hashem. So that is not a direct inspiration in and of itself. It's indirectly related to the Hare, that's we see, sheyesh hagbala beifane hagiluyim shaloi, that there is a hagbala, a limit, in the manner that this ha'ora reveals itself. You actually learn this in nimshachu mistayim v'nimshachu mistayim. We said it yesterday, but we didn't elaborate. Nimshach mistayim and nimshach mistayim means that it's nimshach, there is a certain principle, and then that ends, and a new hamshocha comes, and that ends. What is implication? If it's nimshach mistayim and then nimshach again, so it's not ended. It's ended within those parameters, within those within that level of inspiration, and a new element comes in. And this is a continual process that in ha'ora, because ha'ora has a measure, and it has so to speak a functional definition. A functional definition has an end, and then when it ends, a new version of that functional significance comes forth under different parameters. Using the using the illustration that we took before from the Rambam, there is the Indian that this is directly Avodas Hashem, and then there is the Indian that is indirectly Avodas Hashem. Vidaki Hashem, because this facilitates the Avodah. What if somebody is not up to that level? Does that mean he should not neglect his health? No, absolutely not. Because being a good state of health is actually, in an overall perspective, a Kiddush Hashem. And the Rebbe should create a good world. In Paris dreams, it says, that the poros, the healthy poros, the first mara, they had a good appearance. So Rashi explains what's the appearance of a good appearance. Behemoths are appearance was made by a good appearance. That when people are satisfied, they look positively at each other. Then they see the good things of each other. That's why they're very smart. And this is part of the beauty of the creation of Mebish's world. So that's clearly in a different arena, a different level than being healthy in order to be able to do mitzvahs and to be able to mizbein and do with Hashem.
So in terms of the terminology that we're using here, to serve Hashem directly is Oisamos. The dark to be healthy, because it's so you could be serving. That's not the same way.
It's not the same way.
What's this? Then this is to further descend, just to make a kiddush Hashem. To that's also not.
That's another step. This is meaning of the haora. Because that's an essential thing. As long as it has an effect, it has it, and then it ends. And a new level comes forth. I'll preempt the question. Where does this new level come from? And the explanation is, it is a ha'ora of the true oil. Does not. It represents a true oil at a certain level, but the true oil is still behind it, and therefore, if this level has nistayim, then automatically a new level will surface, because behind it there is a real truth. Okay, b'chol oilam biprat. This is true also. B'chol oilam biprat. In each world, within its own context, its own parameters. Yesh hagbala. There is a limit. Be'efon ha'oir ve'hagilu. In the manner that the oir is recognized, and the manner in which the gili of the ha'ora is recognized. Within each world, there is also this nimshach time, nimshach time. V'chol zeh, this entire view, there is mahus acher, and then it rejuvenates, and then mahus acher rejuvenates. It is lefi shezehu ha'ora levat. It is due to the fact that it is only ha'ora. V'chol ha'ora, and every ha'ora, the principle of ha'ora is that yesh hagbala behispashtu shalom. In ha'ora there is a hagbala behispashtu shalom. To what extent this ha'ora will have an effect? Behispashtu shalom. And the reason that Ha'ora has Hakbala, the Hispashus Shelo, as we explained before, is that Ha'ora is limited to the effect it can have. And therefore, when the effect is no longer valid, then that ends already. There is no longer a valid purpose in this Ha'ora. Now that we've come, so to speak, to the end, just want to another representation, another point. Ha'ora, we said, has a functional element. It illuminates an existing area. It does not represent, so to speak, the light in and of itself. It presents the effect of light. The area that it illuminates does not have an essential value.
What that it illuminates? What that it illuminates?
The area that it illuminates does not have an essential value. To put it very, very simply, if you have light in the room, so it's wonderful, you see everything. But that is not an essential element, because the fact is that you can get around the room without light. It's not going to be as wonderful and as the similar experience, but the light does not bring the reality. It only illuminates what's there, and that which is there has a limit, has a finite significance. If a table were a thing in itself, a perfect, then seeing it would have an essential value. A table has also just a limited value. Therefore, whether you see the table or you don't see the table is the same. So if you feel your way around without light, you still have the table, not in the same brightness. But the value of seeing the table is limited. And this is why we're saying that Ha'ora has an inherent limit.
Because it's dependent on...
Excuse me?
It's dependent on...
On what it illuminates. And that which it illuminates has a finite value. And the Ha'ora does not bring that into being, it only illuminates it. All right, this will be it for this morning. Have a great day.
Sabanu,